Confirm if you're comfortable using this.
Come on. What do you want to say?
All right,
One
guys,
minute.
what's going on? So, we are going to be doing our episode 6, and I have Raja here, so it's just going to be me and him today. Raja has done a couple of shows, and then we have the India Pro show coming in about 2 weeks from now. So, I thought it'll be a good one to just discuss how his shows have gone, how the other shows like New York Pro, Pittsburgh Pro have been, and then obviously the India Pro show that we have. So, Raja, what's up? What's going on?
Yeah. Pretty good, solid in the prep, and you are in your off season.
Yeah.
Pretty much enjoying your off season. With mangoes, I saw your story with mangoes and everything.
Yeah.
Enjoying the season.
Yeah.
So you got
Actually, I don't remember the last time. I think it was like 2 years ago, where I was still in off season in May. But usually, this May, June, July has always been like a prep time, it's competition time, right?
Yeah.
So it's nice to have that change. But for you, you've been traveling a lot. You did 2 shows outside India, right?
Yes.
So how long have you been? Like, how long did you stay outside? You were in what, Hong Kong or Taiwan?
Korea.
Korea. Okay, so both
South
shows in Korea, right?
Yeah, South Korea. I was
Oh.
there for 20 days.
Oh wow, how was that?
Definitely costed in lakhs for sure.
Wow,
And it's an expensive place, right? Korea. When you compare to India, everything is expensive out there. But the quality was good. The production was good for the second show. First show was a bit of. I didn't like the production. I didn't like the organizing team.
Like the Asian Grand Prix, right?
Yeah, Asian Grand Prix.
I thought that used to be the biggest show in Korea. I think 4 years ago.
Yeah, he started off with a big show. He brought in good athletes. After a point, there are a lot of shows in Korea. This Alex Song promoter guys organizing like 5 or 6 shows every year. This year for 2024, same Grand Prix. This one was at a new venue. I don't know. I also thought so. AGP is like a brick show, and I'm gonna get a lot of exposure.
Yeah.
I would like to say all of the Indian guys must travel and compete in a international place. I had to face a lot of problems, a lot of things to figure out. When you go out and compete, that's when like you understand you have to come up with a quick solution to a lot of new things and figure out a lot of. You have to be okay, mentally okay to face anything and then compete. You don't have the comfort, you don't have the luxury.
Yeah, no, this is why I've always said this to everyone. Even you and I had this talk, like even last year we had this, even this year we've been talking. And I've said this to almost everyone in India that you cannot just rely on the show that is in India. And not just to get qualification, because here's what I think the problem is. The problem is you also need experience, right? Because when you go to Olympia, you're not going to be in India. You're going to be in a completely different setting, completely different time zone. And yes, it's US, so it's a little bit advanced, but it doesn't matter, right? It's more so what you are used to. So it's one thing traveling from Chennai to Delhi or from Mumbai to Delhi, but it's completely different thing when you're traveling to a whole new country and time zone changes and all of that. So jitna you can do that, the more experience you can get, right? And the more experience you get, the more comfortable you become with dealing with issues like flight delays, like hotel reservation issues, or just something like food going bad, like whatever it is. Like when you're in a different country, the more you do it, the more confident you get. कि ठीक है, अगर ये सब चीजें होंगी मेरे साथ, I'll manage. It'll be stressful, but first time is always the hardest.
Yeah.
So I'm sure like you've probably like had a lot of experiences in these 2 shows.
Yeah, because the weather there was 9 or 10 degrees Celsius when I was in Seoul, and another place, Chunan, exactly. But before Korea, in Chennai, the temperature was 38, 39, close to 35 to 40. So it's completely different weather, and my body in peak week in Chennai, it was a lot different. But after reaching Korea, long flight, it is a 14-hour flight. I have to switch between. There was a 1 or 2 stops for my flight, and then it was 2 days of travel. After reaching there, the weather is a lot cold outside, so you become drier, you become a different, your skin tone changes, you have to battle with it, and then exhausting prep, go find a gym there.
Yeah.
Last minute, this promoter guy had to change the venue to a different location. So
Oh.
we'll have to find a new Airbnb, different location. So initially, the first location was left extreme end of Korea, which
Yeah.
is at the border of North Korea. And this guy changed it to the right extreme end to another place, Chunan, and I have to figure out everything from the start, Airbnb, my food, or everything. So that was a little bit of a challenge. And then the weather, and then everything. So
Yeah.
usually I have pro shows now. It's a 2-day show, right?
Yeah.
But last minute changes. It was a 1-day show, and then he switched everything to 1 day. And athlete check-in was around 9 p.m. and pre-judging was at 10 a.m. 9 a.m. Sorry, 9 a.m. and pre-judging was at 10 a.m. So you got 1 hour, and
Oh. So they did the
that's it.
check-ins the same day?
I changed it like 1 week ago.
No, the athletes checking in at, you're saying they were the check-ins were at 9 a.m. and then the show was at 10. Also, they
10.
did the check-ins the same day.
Same day. And I don't know why they missed out on height and weight calculation this time. They didn't even check the height and weight.
Oh,
I was
they didn't check.
surprised
Ah.
they didn't check any.
Hmm.
9 o'clock. And tanning also, the promoter guy, I don't know why. I have a lot of good experience with Korea, but with this promoter, I don't know why he was so rude to us. I didn't know. Because I texted him, I mailed him for tanning, and I asked him for a contact information. If at all, if I need any emergency, I am not aware of the language here as well. So could you please help with the contact number? And that guy said, you can Google it. If you have any thing, you can Google and find it. So I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to deal with it. As if I go to Google and find things. So I was
Yeah.
mentally aware that this is going to be a challenge, bit of a challenge, and I was ready for it. And tanning was at 8 a.m. for the show, Sunday. I asked for a 1 day earlier. I asked for a Saturday appointment, and he said, no, only Sunday possible. So
Oh, so the
it was
tanning
just
was all tanning on the same day, like just show
same
up.
day. It's like it's not. It doesn't look like a pro show. It's like a big show. But the tickets, entry ticket was 7,000 rupees per person.
Oh wow.
Then there was
So
no athlete.
but at the pro shows, they always give you one free one guest pass, right? They don't give you
Yeah,
one
I
guest pass. They get one.
I thought no. They
They
didn't give
didn't?
me any.
Oh.
I thought so too.
They
So
always
it
give
was,
one free guest pass for the competitors, and then and honestly, at the Olympia also they do that.
I don't know why I said the same thing. There should be one free pass, right?
Yeah.
What was the problem? And the promoter was like, ask her to get out. My mom was there accompanying. I didn't get her a ticket because I thought one free ticket should be there. So he came and it's like, no tickets, get out. Don't be at the venue. It's like, what? There should be one free pass, right?
Wow.
And it was my mom. Right before entering the stage, he's telling me, asking her to get out. And it's like, mentally, I was like, off. This is not how you treat a guy who's coming all the way from a far away country to compete in your show.
Especially
This is
as
not
a
how you
pro,
treat.
right? You get more respect
Yeah.
as a pro, and you're treated with respect too. So
I know the second show was a lot better, and tanning 8 a.m. and I reached the venue at 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m. to be precise. But they didn't. Nobody showed up. They came at 9 o'clock, and after the meeting, they tanned me at 9:30. And I thought the delay was because of your problem. So you guys should do something with the pre-judging, postpone it by at least half an hour or something. But they started at 10 a.m. He said, if you want, get on stage. If not, you will be disqualified. That's it. If you want, get on stage. So
so they postponed it, huh?
no, they didn't. They postponed the tanning.
Okay.
So I was done with by 9:30
Yeah.
after the athlete check-in. So 9 o'clock check-in, 9:30 athlete check-in was done. Athlete check-in as in like they took photos, they gave us the trunk number, that's it. No height and weight calculations, nothing. And then by 9:30 they let me go from tanning. 9:40 I went to backstage to change my shorts, and 10 o'clock pre-judging. So I didn't even finish my tanning. I just did spray, I didn't warm up. That gave me that panic, last minute panic, and I didn't even do till the very last moment. I was applying shiner to get on stage, and the backstage rope pump, that's all I had. And I went on stage. I had a very bad migraine. It's not how you compete, right? It's not. You need to have a cool, like really cool mindset. Like you have to calm down, relax, and chill, and then go on stage. So that was a bad experience.
what I've noticed is there are certain shows and certain organizers that pay a lot of attention to the athletes and like the way the show runs very smoothly, and there are some shows and some organizers that are just not so much about like making sure everything is smoothly, the athletes are taken care of, there's not a lot of delays and all that. So, and from all the shows that I've done, I've had shows that were very smooth, that were very easy to kind of like go through the whole, like, jo bhi apna subah, like 9 a.m., 10 a.m., everything was like on time. And then I've done shows where there was like a lot of like a lot of issues and a lot of delays, and also like this whole thing about um, like they're not giving tickets to the plus ones and all that. Yes, there's always been some shows that are like that, and then some shows are very easy. For example, like some of the shows that I really like is when the show is in the same hotel as the as where you're staying. So when I
Yeah,
do these shows, they were the easiest shows for me to do because you go to the hotel 2 days out, you go there, there is a small gym there, that's all you need for 2 day out, kind of like upper body pump, right? So you use that gym, you
yeah,
never leave that area. So it's so comfortable that, oh, you just have to stay in one place, then you go for tan, where you just have to walk. You don't have to like
yeah.
take. Then you go to the venue, basically like it's a walk of 2 minutes. And then even if it's delayed, you know everything is in your room. If you need anything, it's like it's very some of those shows
So
actually, like I've done in US, like those were my favorite, where you don't have to do a lot of travel. And then obviously like they're cheaper. Cab expenses. And then going back and forth, going from the airport to there's so many expenses that happen, you save it on all. And also, I've noticed some organizers are so good that they take into account key grocery stores are right within walking distance. So it's like 3 minute walk. Now you have a big ass grocery store. So now you have everything there, and those shows are so easy and so smooth to go. And then obviously
it
stores
solves a lot of problem. It gives you
30 minutes away, and then the venue is 30 minutes away. And now you have to take cabs 3 times a day. When it's tanning ke liye, the morning tanning. Then you will do that in the pre-judging. Then you do it in the finals.
yeah. So with the foreign language, you have to use apps which you
Yeah.
are not aware. Those are not in English as well. So you have to use a different language or take help from others and figure it out. So
Yeah.
it's hard, hard.
Well, I mean, I've not done that, so I can only imagine that is another factor of adding stress. Just not
Yeah.
understanding the language and having a hard time communicating.
Yes. So, but the second show was exact opposite. They took good care of athletes. Everything was planned perfect on time. They took good care of athletes. They respected the athletes. So, if at all any guys from India, any athlete wants to compete in a show, please make sure you pick the right show, because your experience and the confidence comes from everything as a whole package, right? So, like you said, if you have advantage of a show where the venues are the same hotel, you avoid all those mental conflicts of like, oh, I have to figure this out, I have to figure that out. That gives you a lot of stress. If
Yeah.
everything is under control, if everything is within reach, you get a lot of positive confidence that, okay, I have everything, everything is sorted. Now I just have to like focus on my show, carb up, dry out, whatever it is. Go for a little walk, you're ready, set.
Yep.
So helps lower your cortisol as well.
That's why, like, but it's also essential to do these shows, right? Like, do these different
Yeah.
shows to understand which ones you like. So there are certain shows that I feel every pro that competes a lot just wants to do because they have had a very good experience at those shows before, right? And then there are certain shows that you may have won, but you don't want to do it again because you just feel they weren't like the best. Like, yeah, like exposure wasn't there. The photographer, videographers weren't high quality to be present. Those things weren't smooth. It was very expensive. All those things. So you have your favorites, and then you have your like not so favorites that you avoid, that you don't
Yeah.
want to do.
Yeah, I'm starting to note it down. I'm taking note of everything now. Going abroad, competing in different
Yeah.
countries.
That's what comes with
It's
experience, right?
pretty
Like that's
tough.
what the fun part about competing is. Like it's not just so
Yeah,
much about just winning all the time. It's also so much about just experiencing different stages, different like venues, and then understanding it. Okay, when you are at that level where you can win more shows, then you know exactly which ones to do, and then which ones never to do again. So
yeah. The people were also nice. The audiences were really nice. They really supported it. They enjoyed the show. that vibe was really nice. They loved it. The
How
kind
many
of experience.
how many competitors were there? Were there like a lot of Korean guys, or was it like all like mixed?
Korean and Chinese guys.
Okay, okay, so not
But
so much.
Chinese guys, definitely they're coming up. They're going to definitely dominate all the Asian shows. I
That's
feel like because of
I
the
I
structure.
went to university with a lot of the Chinese like people from China that used to be my friends. My friend group is like all Chinese, and when we started training, and there was a difference between their physiques and some of the other ethnicities. Every person from China, like every guy from China, has really good chest and a small waist.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
it's just like I don't how many friends were I think I have like 5 or 6 friends in like who did bodybuilding who competed but never turned pro. But all of their chest is just like perfect
Insane.
shape, perfect density, and then they all have small waist. But then when they
Yeah.
do the back, it's like I've never seen like none of my friends here could have good back or the back strength. But their chest, like they could bench like 3 plates, 4 plates when they were like, when we were in university. That's how strong and just that's just how they're built. So it's very
It's
hard.
not just. Yeah, it's not just. It's full, complete,
Yeah.
top to bottom. It's complete. It has a beautiful
Front.
shape. Yeah, from the front, and they have a good, beautiful taper just because of the chest. They
No,
open up.
small waist. Always have small
It
waist. So yeah,
gives you that illusion. So
yeah,
when they turn to the back, they have the taper, but they don't have the density.
yeah,
They don't have that muscle separation and density.
yeah,
So we, Indians are the exact opposite. I feel like a lot of Indians have a good back, good
yeah,
structure,
yeah.
good midsection, but we all lack upper chest or somewhere. If there is a problem with the chest.
Yeah, the chest and the shape too, right? Like our shapes vary a lot between each
Yeah,
athlete and each ethnicity within India. Whereas if you look at all these guys from Asia, especially from China, they have very similar structures. Sabka structure is like straight waist, higher lats, wide clavicle, all that stuff. They have very, very similar stuff. So when
yeah,
they go on stage, they all look very similar. Whereas if you are not like them, you look different, right?
yeah. That's what happened in my show because this was, I would say, this was my best package. I've improved from the back and I put on so much muscle.
Yeah.
But with them, compared to them, I feel like there was not much improvement, and my placing was because I competed in Korea.
Yeah.
Had it been another country in another show, it would have been a lot different because every other physique would have been like me in India or some other show in US maybe
So
also.
did you get the feedback from Steve was judging that show, right? Or the second show
Second
was
show,
judged by Steve, huh?
yeah,
Yeah. Which one and who judged the Grand Prix?
Korean judge.
Oh, so there was no judge from the US. Okay.
No, it was
So,
all a Korean panel.
but Steve has judged you before, so I highly doubt like he will prefer like all the Koreans before. Obviously, like the other 4 or 5 judges are all from Korea itself, but they don't have a lot of say. Like the other judges don't have a lot of say in in
Mhm.
the placing. They are more so to just confirm the placing, but the final decision is always like coming on the head judge.
Yeah,
So did you
but
get the feedback from him?
yeah, I spoke with them.
Yeah,
But when you look at when you see a matchup, right, when all those guys have a bigger chest, even though you have improved, you might not seem like it because they have a very huge chest. So when I stand next to them, it feels like I have a problem. There is
yeah.
a problem with my chest. So that's what happened. From the back, I was really the conditioning was good. Was thicker, denser. I beat them from the back,
Yeah.
but when it got to the front, they also have huge taper with a huge complete chest. So it appears to be
Let's see.
uh,
I wanna find that out. So let's still have this. This- I think they posted here, right? Like the both the
top
shots
six. Yeah, right there.
for Pittsburgh, right there. Was it this one?
No, the next one. Oh, that was my first show. My first show, I was
Oh,
the
that was the
seventh
fourth
place
one. Oh, okay. So it was after this, right?
after this. Yeah.
So it was on the same weekend as the Pittsburgh then?
No, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
right here. Okay. Yeah, like I think like you look great here. Like I don't think they have a video recording of all the like the whole comparison round, but
Uh,
even from the front, like dry, shredded, full. Um, yeah, like from the front, you're there. But I can see like the chest of some of those guys and like those wide clavicles, what they're talking about, and they all pose very
Similar,
similarly.
straight on.
What I
When you
see
do that,
here is like I think it's also like the way or they pose. Like the guy that came third, I feel like
mhm,
he's able to showcase his taper better, even though you're tighter in your midsection. He's not
yeah,
like as tight, but it's like the way that he's posing, it's really accentuating his taper.
yes.
If you really see,
Since
like, you see the taper, like if you see the taper of you versus like him, he's actually posing in a way that is accentuating his his lats.
yeah, so they have a really great taper and a chest to do that.
That's the thing,
So
right? Yeah, because they have such a thick chest that they can really flat, like they can really widen it out and it'll still retain that thickness.
yeah, we can't do that. If I do that, no, then there will be nothing.
That
So this is
that's
the
what I
best
see with
thing
this
to
guy, like the guy that is sixth, he's trying to
do.
do
Mhm.
the same thing, but he has no chest to match that. And also the
Yeah,
clavicle bones are not as wide, so he's not
why
able to
it's
do that.
narrow. It's narrow from the front, so it doesn't look good.
Yes.
Also, when you
Yes.
keep your hands on your waist, you can actually suck it in. You can actually contract more and make you. It makes
Very
your
powerful.
waist look smaller.
True. True.
But
You
with
know
a
what?
hand free,
They
you
love the
can't do that.
Lucky Libra pose a lot. All the Asians, they love the Lucky Libra pose.
Yeah,
Yeah, from the back, like I just feel like you had more thickness than
yeah, density.
almost all of these guys. I can already see like there's more thickness. Like maybe the second guy has a little bit thickness, but his shape isn't there. Fourth guy, same thing. Like his thickness may be there, but his shape isn't there. You have the shape, and you have also the way of hitting the back pose. I feel a lot of these guys don't even know how to hit the back pose. Fourth guy doesn't know how to hit the back pose.
Yeah.
Even the second guy is really pinching his back a lot. Um,
First, so first place winner also. I feel like he could also improve on with his back pose.
Yeah, oh,
Without
absolutely. I don't think he's hitting in the perfect spot. But
pinching it.
what I feel is like maybe what is happening is like, okay, these guys hit this back pose during their posing routines, right? But when they're in the comparisons, they might have been able to hit it in a way that that just looked better.
No, no, I saw all the. I have all the
Videos?
footages with me.
Yeah, yeah. So they might
Yeah,
be doing the same thing.
so they're doing the same thing. Still, they're able to beat from the front as well. So they show a huge taper from the front and chest, and everything is there. Conditioning is there. From the back, they also look wider. The taper is there, and also the muscle separation is there. So overall, when they compare, they are winning it by from the front and from the back is what the Korean just told me. But Steve gave me a really positive feedback.
Yeah, I think that honestly, like looking at the show, like I feel like the fourth guy shouldn't be fourth. You should be definitely there, and even the third guy, you can get like third guy's front is definitely if they're focusing more on the taper, then sure, like his is better. But then when you go to the back, like if you go to his back pose, then yeah, like I can just see. But here's another thing. What I really feel is like I find it a little bit odd here that okay, I see the first guy, he's very dry. Like his back and his front and back shots are very, very dry, right? So
Yeah,
he's super dry and super lean and has a like really good taper. So and the chest, like his chest stands out amongst everyone.
yeah. It
And
was
his
huge.
back
It
is
was
good too. Honestly, like your back is thicker, but what I feel here is like his back is very dry. And it's not that he has a bad back. He just doesn't have as much lower lat development. That's it. You have a better lower lat development.
yeah, yeah. But if you look at all those four guys, no, it's all
Yeah,
a
yeah.
matchup from.
I definitely see the fourth guy. I feel like I don't know what they're doing. Like I can see his lower back is holding a little bit of water too. And even from the front, he's not like he has a very crazy taper. So third and fourth guy, I don't know why they placed you fifth versus they could have like moved you around and definitely third or fourth should have been the looking at
Yeah,
their
but the real reason is when you look at their front poses, no,
yeah.
those four guys look like a matchup. They all pose together, so it's like they all
They
have a
can
crazy
justify
taper.
that. Yeah, they can justify that.
Yeah, I stand out from the crowd. So it's like I can compare those four guys. So
Got
what
it.
they did was they compared all those four guys for the first call out,
Got
and
it.
then they pulled me in,
Got it.
and they compared me and the sixth place guy because from the only from the view from the front chest, that was the
Yeah.
only problem. what Steve told me.
Yeah.
Since these guys were huge, bigger, but you have improved a lot from the back. Your conditioning was good, your density and everything was good
Yeah.
from the back. That's why you stood out from the crowd, and I called you in. But from the front, you really need to have to open up a little bit because these guys are huge and they have a huge chest, so their taper is more accentuated. So make sure you hit your front pose where your
What
taper is
helps is
more
like
elevated.
what helps is like from what I see in the picture, you are, and that's just something everybody done, including me. You're trying to focus more on your midsection and abs, so you're trying to like crunch a little bit down and keeping that knee a little bit bent. What you need to like start doing is you need to really, really stand up and chest
Yeah,
really high. Your abs are not going to be as like defined, but what it's going to do for you is it's going to give you a lot of width up top,
yeah,
and it's also going to make your chest look better. Because what's happening is like when you crunch down, your chest is like this, right? When you go up, if you have a good upper chest, like it makes everything pop. So then when everything's like when your taper is popping, the eyes go straight to that. Sure, you lose a little bit of definition in your abs, but it is not an abs contest. If you can
yes.
bring your shoulder, chest, taper, these three things more, then that little bit of like less abs, they make up for it. The prime example that I like to like see and give is Aaron Banks, right? Like when you see him pose, he's really taking advantage of his height and his
Right.
taper, like his wide clavicle bones with that taper. He really stands up,
Yeah,
and he loses a little bit of his ab definition, but he doesn't need that because when you are that, like when you can bring that taper, it just makes everything better. Whereas Ryan Terry does a little bit more like crunch, right? Especially in the past, he's gotten better. Like last year, he did an amazing job when he was posing. But if you see his posing like 2, 3 years ago, his thing was always about like crunching,
yeah,
right? So if you lose a little bit of your ab like taper with that, but again, like he has an amazing midsection. So there, people's eyes go in the midsection. When you're competing with these people at the pro shows, I think more important is like focusing on the taper and just showing them more of like, okay, why are you the best suited physique for men's physique, which is
yeah.
about taper.
Yeah, I also I went through the footages and I wanted to work on my posing as well. So first thing I figured out was that only. So I shouldn't be crunching more on my focusing more on my midsection. But the only problem with that is no, um, since you brought up Ryan Terry, I feel like last Olympia also he kind of sits down on his hat. He crunches a little bit
He
and
does.
a little bit. He's not up straight.
No.
He's focusing more on his strength.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do also, if I don't do both, if I stand up straight, it's like I fall into the category of, oh, I don't have great abs, I don't have a great chest. So I feel like I get into that zone where like I'm into like fourth or fifth guy. Everybody has a shape out there, and everybody is a
You
proper
might
height.
need to just find like a really good balance
Yeah,
in the middle.
that's fine line. I'm working on that line where like I'm
Yeah,
not
like
sitting down too
where you
abs.
just I have better taper than what it was at these shows, but at the same time, you're not really flattening your like abs out, right?
Yeah,
Brian Terry's like abs just look so good, like he's able to do that. But if you see some of these other guys, like especially most of the guys in the top five, top 10, a lot of those guys like tend to like stand tall. Like Chiron is an example; he stands very tall. So these guys
then as
like
well.
they take their advantage in doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, finding a like a balance is like key, right? Like that's why like these feedbacks and these small things you can only learn when you compete at the stage.
Yeah, that gave me the confidence to go on and compete in the upcoming shows as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, sure. I asked the head judge Steve for the feedback, and he was like, really, he said he was really happy or impressed with the package, and the back was good, and he only wanted me to work on my posing and open up and show my taper as much as possible because at pro level they're all bigger, so you gotta fight with them for the taper and make sure your conditioning was on point. It's all good.
Yeah.
So I saw him with a good. Oh, okay. I like his package after. He has been judging me for maybe like 4 5 shows now.
Yeah.
I think this is the show. Yeah, all pro shows. Steve was the judge for
Yeah.
most of
The
my pro
India
shows.
show, like he's always been there. Yeah.
Every time his feedback would be, "Oh, size with you, yeah, pros are bigger. You have to grow." That was not a positive phase, I would say.
Yeah.
But this time it's like, okay, you have the size, or at least you're able to compare for the pro at the pro level.
Yeah.
So that gave me the confidence to go on and work on the feedback and improve a little bit more, a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about like doing more shows, right? Like I think it's very important to just keep competing. That's what like I've always said, and a lot of people like, especially the pros from India, that's where they kind of like fell short, where they don't compete as much as it's needed nowadays. You may need to do like 6, 7 shows over the course of a whole year. Back like a couple of years ago, that used to be like, what are you talking about, right? It wasn't. First of all, there wasn't as many shows. The gaps
Yeah.
were bigger, right? You won't just have like every week, every 2 weeks. Second of all, there weren't as many shows. And third, like it there weren't as many men's physique athletes competing. So you know like which ones are the ones that stand out and which ones don't. And then you just have to qualify by doing like 3, 4 shows, even two. And a lot of the top pros, the established pros, used to only do one show. Because as soon as
Yeah.
they go to a show, it's kind of like guaranteed that they're gonna win.
Yeah.
Now it's just changed. It's like even the top guys have to do multiple shows. Like we
Yes.
saw
The
with who was that? The guy that came second at the New York Pro, um, Vitor, right? Like
Vidor.
he's top five at the Olympia, and he's done how many shows? He's done like 4 or 5 already, and he's still not
Yeah.
qualified. He needs to like he'll have to do more. But that's just
Shows.
how it is now. So imagine if a top guy like that has to do so many shows. It just shows that if you are trying to make a name for yourself, it's even more important to do more shows.
Yeah. Of course, because just because going on off season and building and coming back, the cat every year the category is moving towards a direction and moving
Yeah.
towards something. So you gotta stick to it and know where you stand, and like you have to cut down and see and
Yeah.
work with the posting, work with the all of those international whatever I said. Like you have to face it, and then only you'll be able to like get access to so many shows.
Yeah.
In India, there are 2 shows currently, but there's a huge gap between them. So if you
The
stick to
other
only
thing
one,
with India show is that as the years gonna go by, there's more people that are going to keep coming to India to compete. It's not just going to be Indians. It's just what
yeah,
happens, right? And especially in India, here's another thing in India. People come to compete at India show, and you're going to see it more and more happening this year, and it has already happened last year. India loves to support people from outside. They love it. You will notice this one thing. Nobody goes to Brazil to compete. You know why? If they win, they get nothing. They'll probably kick them out of the country. If you as a non-Brazilian athlete win, you good luck even making it to the airport, because they would just
Mhm.
not care. They're that
I think
hardcore. So if Brazilian shows, it's just Brazil pros, because nobody wants to go because they know the fans there are just too
crazy.
hardcore. Whereas in India, we welcome them. We want them to win, right? This happened last year. This will happen this year. So people are also realizing this. And also, it's also we have the biggest market for fitness. It's an established fact that India is the biggest fitness industry market. So
Yeah.
people want to come here. So now, like you'll see more athletes coming from America, from like Europe, from Middle East, as like the shows get even more popular. So it's going to get even harder for all Indian athletes to be able to just rely on that one show. So it's important to go to like Middle East, important to go to like Europe, important to go to like Asia. These are the destinations that are less like cheaper to fly to.
Yeah.
And that's just that's it. Like it's just, yeah, it sucks, and I understand. Like you and I both know that it's expensive, and things have changed, and a lot of people may not be able to afford it. But this is just what it is now. It's so competitive. It is so competitive, not only like just to compete at this level, but also to be able to make a living out of competing now.
Yeah, of course, because when you win a show, pro show, the cash price is also not a lot
No,
for a tier 4
no,
show or something.
no.
So it's not, you can't
No,
heavily,
you're not gonna have the prize money. That's never gonna be like a thing. No.
yeah. So
Open
it,
bodybuilding is the only category where it's like if you win a pro, like if you win like a show, then it's decent enough money. But men's physique, no, it's not gonna do anything.
but only good thing from India is what men's physique is really growing. Everybody
Yeah.
is coming into men's physique now. All there is a
That's why,
life for.
like, when I was saying that I was like pretty much just talking about men's physique only. But yeah, even other categories like bikini, you're gonna see this time in the India show. I've seen like 4 or 5 girls that have never come to India. The 2 or 3 are coming from US, then a couple from Europe. Like bikini is gonna get saturated with people from outside India
Right.
because the level of competition in Indian bikini athletes is not up to the par.
True. They
Easy.
want to get qualified, right? So
Yeah.
very hard for them to qualify outside. Now there are a lot of athletes. Korea alone is hosting around maybe 10 or 12 pro qualifier shows.
See,
So
the
each show 2 or
reason is
3.
because the Korean people in Korea, they support their promoters, they support their athletes, they support the people that run the fitness industry there. So they're able to grow and they're able to do more.
Yeah.
We have the opposite mindset where if you go to Korea, they're all about IFBB league, right?
Yeah.
They love the IFBB, they love the Olympia, they're obsessed with Olympia. Similarly, if you go to China, they're obsessed with Olympia. You go to Brazil, obsessed with Olympia. Go to any of these countries, right, where there is hardcore fan base. But when you come to India, we don't want IFBB. We want cash prize. We want
Yeah.
prize money. We want to make a living out of competing, which none of these countries care about. They only care about one thing, which is competing and qualifying. They don't make money. Korea gives the same money. Like prize money was the exact same as any other show. It's not like they're giving more
Yes,
money.
no cash prize.
No. So it's not
Yep.
like they are giving you something that we are not able to give in India.
But
But the
there
big
were
difference is mindset.
30, 40 sponsors for the show. Mini sponsors. A little bit small. Every other. But they're supporting them.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Because their goal is different, their aspirations are different. They don't see competing as a way of making money. They just see competing as a way of making big, which is going to the Olympia. For them, that's a dream. So Korea still, there's so many guys that have gone from Korea to Olympia. I think the men's physique guy that I know, I think he was the first one. I may be wrong, but Thanos was the first one, and I competed with him in 2020. He has a lot of hype around him. He didn't place at 2020 Olympia, but he was not just the only Korean athlete. There were like 3 bikini girls that were with him. There was probably one
Well,
classic that was with him. They went as like a team with like 7, 8 people in the first year that Korea show started happening.
no, it was so sad that in the second show, there were a team for Korean team. They were all taking pictures. There were 4 athletes. Chinese team, there were 4 athletes. And Taiwan, there were 2 athletes.
Yeah.
And from India, I was the only one standing with my family. But at the end, it's like I was the only one from India. But we say we are coming up with industry. You have to go to the Olympia. Everybody's talking about it. And there are a lot of athletes coming up. But I don't see a lot of athletes competing. They're all competing in one show and they're going off. And then I don't see them competing at all. But how are they going to qualify if they compete in one show and go off and make changes and come back? It's not possible, literally possible for them to compete in one direct show. Like you said, top 5 Olympians are struggling to qualify. That's the caliber of the shows right now.
Yeah.
And if you're going to make it to the first time, if you're still figuring it out, you have to have a lot of exposure and you have to experience it.
The problem is the problem is we've said this before, we'll say it again. People that are competing in India right now, the athletes, are not from a good financial standpoint. And this they cannot blame on other people. They cannot blame it on the organizers. They cannot blame it on the companies. They cannot blame it on anybody else but themselves. If you don't have the money to compete at shows internationally, it's your problem. It's your fault. It's not anybody else's fault. Why? Because we all know that this industry, first and foremost thing is to have a very good financial security. If you don't have that, yeah, you have a great physique. But if you don't have that, the chances of you making it are very, very, very slim. I'm not saying you can't make it, but very slim. Are you going to rely on that? And if you're relying on that very slim chance, then be confident. Stop crying, right? Like, no need to cry about it. Just keep doing it. But our problem has become now that, obviously with everything that goes around and, people just kind of, I don't know, like it's just so surprising when I see it from like a outside perspective. I'm like, they spend so much time and energy into like negativity and complaining and demanding and this. I'm like, all of that energy, if you just put it into just quietly competing and just strategically doing the shows, strategically budgeting. It's not that expensive to go to Thailand. It's not that expensive that they think. If you budget it right, you can do it. Even the guys that are making like decent, everybody has sponsors that is IFBB Pro. If you're even
Yeah.
making 50, 60,000 rupees of just the sponsor, I don't know, like if you're making around a lakh, 50,000, whatever, if you budget it really, really well, you can definitely go to a close by country. Like it could be like Thailand, it could be Taiwan, anything that is within like 30,000, 20 to 25,000 rupees flight ticket.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's going to be hard. You might just have to go there one day out because you don't want to spend extra on a hotel. But people are doing that. People have done that. So I just find it very hard. The only reason that you see all these Korea having 10 pro shows, 12 pro shows, and having so much resources and so many of their guys going to the Olympia is because they support their industry. They support the people that are building the industry. We are more so about everybody wants a piece. They don't just want a piece of the pie. They want the full pie. हमें छोटा piece नहीं चाहिए, हमें पूरा cake चाहिए. Everybody wants the cake. So now that is going to obviously derail us behind. And not just now, this is happening historically too. Why was China able to have such a great economy and everything was going good, and while we were like just being colonized by different countries? Because they stuck to that. They supported their, whoever dictator was. We didn't want to support anybody.
Yeah, that was a problem. We fight amongst ourselves. We battle it amongst ourselves.
Our economy is not bad from China. We should have been competing with China, but we got back because of that. We have more resources. We have more natural resources on our land. We have more agriculture. We have better soil. We have better temperature, better, like same population.
Everything. You can call it everything.
We have the best stuff, but yet after having the best stuff, why are we so behind? Because we fight amongst ourselves. And we all want the cake. It's not key, 10 people come, you, me, 8 other athletes come, we plan something out, and we can say, okay, Raja, you're gonna have like 1/10 of the pie, I'll have 1/10. Everybody gets 1/10, and let's just do this for 50 years. No. Somebody's gonna be like, oh, I want the full cake. I don't want any of you. I'm just gonna do it by myself.
Funny how like I have I have experienced it. I have coming up when I started out in bodybuilding or physique, they won't share the secrets or something, backstage secret. If you go ask a bodybuilder or an athlete, a fellow athlete, if you want to talk about something, they wouldn't share because they think I might get better if I know that thing. So it's better to keep it themselves. In my place, when I started, yeah. So you can't even go talk to someone because they think, oh, if I talk about something related, I share my thing, and in return I would wait for them to share what they do, but they wouldn't. So, but I would be the one to open up and say, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. This is what I do to bring that. Whatever they ask, I give out whatever I do. I don't care because at the end of the day, I'm not worried about, oh, he's gonna get better, come at me and he's gonna. No, I don't think that because it works for me. I want to share this knowledge to you. If you get better, I'll be happy. I want to battle with a guy who has equal knowledge and win that day. So it's like, okay, you want this, you're asking me. I'm happy that you're asking me. So you're valuing my knowledge. So you want to ask my opinion. So that's more than enough for me. So let me share my opinion. It may be right, may not be right, but this is what I do. I would be very honest.
Quote where it says people at the top are collaborating and people at the bottom are criticizing. The thing is, like, the people at the top are always like, example. I like to say this example. It's good thing you brought this up because I've noticed this and I tried to change it, but I failed. Okay, so in India, I tried to do that, but they ulta ho jata hai. Like, I try to do something good, it becomes like a negative thing. I'm like, it's just like they're gone cases. Forget about it. So if you really notice, in the last 1 year, you will see the top 5 classic physique guys. They've at least trained together 6 or 7 times.
Yeah.
All of them.
Travel and train, and they travel, take a flight, and then go train for a day.
So they all are collabing. Now think about it. If Ramon and Urus want to dethrone Chris Bumstead, then why should they be talking to him? And why should Chris be sharing his secrets to them? Right? Obviously, because they're doing it for so long, they are friends. One. Two, they have no problem in helping each other and making that competition even harder. So they're
Yes.
doing it. They have fun with it. They have a little bit of rivalry. They'll tease each other, but they are all friends. They can literally
No, that is
message
all
each
for
other.
the healthy.
Come here. I got this injury. So Chris, I got this injury. You had this injury in your bicep. Can you tell me how to heal this? He'll be more than happy to help. He's the champ. He can also think the same way that अगर मैं इनको help कर दूंगा, then ये तो मेरे throne पे वैसे ही already आ चुके हैं. फिर मेरे को beat कर देंगे. Then Ramon and Oros एक दूसरे से fight करेंगे कि ये तो second था, मेरे को तो second आना है. I can't be second. But if you really think that even on the stage they have fun, it's
Yeah.
because they have understood the concept of competing. That competing is you're going to do this for 10 years, may as well be friends, may as well have fun.
Yeah.
You might win today, you might lose tomorrow. Regardless, have fun and improve. So why not collaborate? So they're having fun with it. And same thing if you see in Europe, Wesley Vissers is doing that now. He's collaborating with all these European athletes. Like Wesley and Urus are from Europe. Both of them are, right? Germany and
Playing together.
Austria, right? So they're both collaborating. So they're training together. They go to each other's cities. They spend like 2-3 days. They train. They learn from each other. They have different coaches. They learn their coaches' stuff, and then they show up at the same show. And then when Wesley wins, he's not like against Urus, or Urus is not against Wesley. Yeah, you won. Congrats. You did a great job. I'm going to keep getting better. You better also keep getting better. And then next year we'll meet again. And then you might lose again. He might lose again. But this is a 10-year thing, right?
Of course. They see the long picture.
That we are so extreme that our athletes, they don't look at it as like a healthy competition. People that are doing well, like you're now doing the international shows, you're doing well. Some athletes in India will feel like a little jealous from you that, oh, why are you able to go to all these shows and they are just stuck? So they may not like you, right? But they don't understand that you're doing this because you're able, like you planned everything. They can do that too. Similarly, when you start winning a show, you start coming in the top call out, they'll start feeling threatened by you. And then you start winning it, they'll start even more threatened. But what's the point of that? You're just doing your job, they're doing their job, we're all doing our job. This is like literally like a corporate job. Everybody's in their desks doing their job. At lunchtime, you meet each other, have fun, then get back to your desk and work. Why is everybody trying to steal each other's laptop and trying to steal each other's work and being so threatened by each other?
That's the crowd. Indian crowd loves a lot of controversy and all those big boss stuff.
Yeah.
So if a guy is coming up with a rivalry or coming up with something to talk about another person, or because of that this happened, everybody is coming up with reasons after the show. Even after my Korea show, I didn't even talk about the promoter, or right after I could have easily made an Instagram post saying, oh, this happened, this entire thing about the story. But what I thought, it would really not help me with anything. I have another show to focus on. Let me just get it right, because I worked for it, but I felt like I didn't display it in a right way. So I'm not happy with the performance I did at the end. As a pro athlete, I have to be able to compete at any situation, any given time. I should be able to show what this is what it is. You gotta compete because other athletes are doing it. Yeah, they have a fair advantage that they're coming from the same hometown, but still, if I do this, I'll be able to compete anywhere in the world. Even if I go to Olympia, qualify Olympia, I'll have a better experience than other athletes to face all the challenges and compete. Right now, I have the confidence to be able to compete anywhere in the world and still peak well. I'm confident.
See, that's the thing. That's something I learned like a long time ago, and I don't even think I learned it. It's just inherently there. I've done so many shows. Not every show I won, right? And back then there was not a lot of people that were like the sport wasn't as like posted on social media as it is now. So I used to come second, and there were a couple of shows where I was there. I'll give you an example. There was a show, Mile High Pro, okay, Corey Morris came.
Okay.
And that was my first time competing with him. Surak was the guy that was like the winner, the champ, and he was expected to win again. And I was just the guy that just did my third pro show, and I wanted to win, and I thought I can. So I go to the stage, I break my really good package, my best of the whole time, and then me and Corey are selected for top two. So now we are being judged on our, just the two people, and then they send everybody back. So during the pre-judging, I felt and the crowd felt that I won the show. Okay, my back was like at that time better than his, right? And the shape that they wanted in 2020, 2019, yeah, 2019 was a lot different. So when me and him were competing, I thought I won. And everybody knew that, they were also saying it's very close, you will get it, your back looks a lot better, etc. Okay, we go back, we come for the finals, and then they change the decision. And you know how I know they changed the decision? Because when I
Mhm.
went backstage to come second, so I got second place. And when I go
Okay.
backstage to collect my check, you know what was written on my check? My
Okay.
name was written, first place was written, and then they marked it like canceled it, and then wrote second place on it and put a new check in there. That's how I knew that in prejudging I was winning, but in finals somehow they changed it. I don't know why. Now here's another thing. There's a lot of things you can say that, oh, I was from Canada at the time. I was a new pro. The guy was more like from the US. The judges were all like, you can always say like, all these things that we Indians talk about,
Yeah.
like with politics. Let's just say
Of
cheating.
course.
Let's just say cheating,
Yeah. I
right?
agree.
That's what they say, right? So I could have very well just posted on my Instagram that मेरे साथ cheating हुई है, सी मेरा ये कार्ड है एंड इसमें फर्स्ट प्लेस लिखा हुआ है एंड लोगों ने कैंसिल करके मेरे को बाद में किया तो दैट्स चीटिंग. But you know what I did? I was pissed. That is the most pissed I've ever been at a pro show. I took my check, I went back, I had some water, I ate my meal, and I went to the gym to train legs that day. That is the only show I've done in all my shows where I actually trained the same day. Because I was just so pissed. Why? Like, why could they? Like, did it something happen? Like, some politics happen? What did I do wrong? I'm a new pro. Here, the thing is, he's also new pro though. Here's the thing: he wasn't established. He's obviously at a
Okay.
whole different level now, and he's established. He's won a lot more pro shows. I give it to him. But at that time, we were both new pros, and at the time, I had a better physique. And at the time when this happened, I told myself that, like, it's fine. Let's just work hard. We have more shows to do, and we'll do it. Then I went to the next show, and that was Battle in the Desert, right? And Battle in the Desert, he came fifth, and I came second again, but I came second to Akeem. Akeem was
Okay.
a big guy. He was being compared to Raymond at the time, right? And his back was better. Like, that was the only show that I lost on the back. So what I try to say is that people that are competitive, that are truly confident, we take the feedback. We may not like it, but we don't post about it. We don't call out judges for it. We don't call out promoters for it. We don't complain about it. If I had spent all my time complaining, that whole night I would have sat in my hotel complaining or posting, right? Talking to people that are validating me. कि हाँ लोग मुझे बोल रहे हैं "ये आपके साथ cheating हुई है बहुत
Yeah.
cheating हुई है." मैं
So
उनको
what happens then? No, when you do that,
good. I'm like, yes, see, everybody agrees with me. Instead, I just didn't do anything. I didn't post anything. I went back to the gym. I was angry. I took my anger out. Next day, back to the prep. And then go on to the next
yeah,
show. Again, I come
I,
second. Then go to the next
yeah.
show. Fourth. It's like, it's fine. We keep going.
So yeah, that's why I've seen a lot of athletes reacting on stage, throwing all the cups. Yeah, you just picked the wrong show. It was a bad day for you. If they didn't give you the first place or whatever it is, you shouldn't disrespect the certificate or a cup or a trophy.
Competitive show. And
Throwing a cup or a
sometimes, yes,
trophy,
you might get
something.
overlooked. You might get overlooked. It's okay.
Yeah,
That's part of the sport.
you have to be okay with it because there are a lot of shows. Okay, there is another show coming up. You can always show this anger. That anger will help you drive through and then push through to get better and then win the next one. That's
Yeah,
how if you think.
you cannot just sit there and keep complaining. And that's
No,
what I think
simple.
nowadays are doing.
With your example, had you posted about it, every other guy or seen the check or seen the story would have been like, "Yes, you're right. They robbed you. All the stuff. You are getting all this positive validation, and that will give you that satisfaction that oh, you should have won. You have done the work. That's it. Now
Yes.
calm down. Time to chill, relax. You have done it. You have proved it to the world. So you're happy. So you
Yes.
wouldn't be that hungry to go to the next one and kill it. You would have been very much.
I have this photo here. I'll show you the show. I've
Yeah,
never posted it on social media, right? If you really see, Akeem is first, right?
yeah.
I'm second.
I can see.
Third is Arya.
Fourth.
Third is Arya.
And fourth is
Daniel Ammons, who's also a top Olympian.
Fit Physique.
Julian Collins, he's from Canada. And if you see sixth,
That's Corey Morris.
Corey, yeah, I could see. Yeah, you look a lot drier from the front.
So in this show, I lost from the back, right?
But the
Mm-hmm.
show before this is Battle in the Desert. The show before
Okay.
this, he was first and I was second. And I feel that I should have won, but it's okay. And then again, like some other shows happen. In this show, also they say the same thing, that I lost from the back. And the other show, they said I lost from the front. They kept saying that stuff, but I was a new pro. I can't complain. Like people did, and there was no social media like this. You can't just go on a live feature bhi nahi tha. So now I just feel like people lose. They go on social media, they bitch about the judges, they bitch about the organizers, and then people support them because obviously after lower followers, there are going to be some lower followers. They're going to see something, that particular picture you post. I can very well post the best pose in this, like
And
who I did best pose where I'm looking my best, and just post that and be like, you know what, मेरे साथ cheating हुई है. See, this is a proof. I'll give the proof. I'll give the picture, and now this is the whole thing that's going to go on for 2-3 weeks. But
yeah, so no point in doing it, right? Improve. You really care about improving.
yeah, you take the losses with grace and then you win with grace.
Yeah.
But I just feel कि यही से एक चीज है that is holding back some of the athletes. And if they stop doing this and just focus on कि ठीक है, you may have been overlooked. It's a fact. So
Yes.
what? Do another show. If you stay consistent, as Abhi Raja is doing, right? Like you're doing that same thing. Like you're just staying consistent. I have seen it firsthand. If you just stay consistent, if you just keep doing your work, you may get overlooked 1, 2, 5, 6 times. But your time will come. And then when your time comes, you're not going to be overlooked. Now you're going to be favored.
Yeah.
And
Because
then you go back down. Like some other guy might get favored, but then you keep going. You keep going until this is not something you want to do.
yeah, if you really ask for the judges' feedback and improve those, and then show up the next time, they definitely would value your physique over another guy who really has no flaw. But you have improved. You have listened to it as an athlete. Everybody loves to see guys who want to improve, who's hungry to work on it, consistent, stay consistent. Like, yeah, you will be rewarded for sure. You have to be in the right mindset to be able to do that.
Even for you, when you're competing in the next shows, don't be scared or fear who is coming to compete.
For sure, I stopped looking at the competitors list.
Have this tendency to kind of like feel he's top 5 or top 10 or top 15 at the Olympia. He has had 8 wins. Will I be able to win? Will I not be able to win? It's like Andre Ferguson has the maximum amount of wins and he still lost New York Pro. And it's not that he came second or third. He was his best package. Honestly, that he looked his best. There's nothing more he could have really done. It's one thing when you don't come at your best. But when you're bringing your best and you're still getting like 4th or 5th and you're being overlooked, or the division's criteria has changed, which is what has happened. Every year the criteria keeps changing. Every year the looks keep changing. So he came that position. He can literally sit and start talking on social media all the crap he wants. Because he is 24 show. I think he's had 24 or 22 pro wins. That's more pro wins than people have competed.
Yeah.
He is a legend. But the thing is, he didn't cry. He didn't say anything. He didn't even post about it. He's working for his next show. People are talking shit about him all over social media. People are talking him to like retire and stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, that's just what people do. But is he kid? Why? Like this is what it is. Like this is why we have to get in the mindset that you can just do any show and you can beat even the best of the best guys. And it doesn't matter. All that matters is that day, how you look, and what they want.
Yeah. Also, right now, I see a lot of amateur guys who turn pro show better at the pro show right away because they're already winning. They already bring in the best package, drier look, and right after winning, they're very happy. They're not stressed to go on. They're excited to step into a pro show for the first time. They don't care about placing or winning. They're very happy. So all they do is like eat a little bit, and they're already pumped up. They warm up a little bit, and the tan would have been perfect. But for upcoming pro or new pro or someone who's been competing in 2 or 3 shows, they have to think about a lot of things about tan, about fixing about getting a pump, about having everything figured out, stepping on stage. So they need yeah.
Mindset is
There are higher chances of an amateur guy beating a pro in their first show, but after that, I see then second or third show they all struggle.
See,
Same guy.
last year, which show, I don't remember which European show. There was this European show where Carlos competed, right? He's
Mhm.
always been top 15. He's mostly been top 10. Then he got into 15th. He came 15th last year at the
You're
Olympia.
talking about Romania show, I think. MJ
Yeah,
Pro guy win
Carlos,
one.
like Duel or Taiki, like he competed, and he
He got
lost
second.
to a guy that was, I think he turned pro the day before, or he was just like a brand new pro that nobody even knew about it. And Carlos is a very well established pro that has almost won every show in US. And you know,
Yes.
at Arnold, he's been top 3 and stuff. So this guy comes out of nowhere and beats a guy that is like top at the Olympia. He didn't care. He just went quiet and he just went on with his like thing. And people also didn't care. But imagine if this had happened in India, that you beat Ryu. So Raja that has never, like, he's a new pro, he's not beaten anybody, he's only done 1 or 2 pro shows, or you just turned pro yesterday, right? And then you beat someone that is literally like top 15 at the Olympia. Like, let's say Carlos comes to compete at this show. People will be like, people will lose their shit. Like, how did that happen? But this happens. This happens all the time.
Especially with men's physique, but it's not
Yes.
very rare with other categories.
This happens.
Yeah, because with bodybuilding, you definitely need a lot of time to pack so much muscle density and everything. With just the muscle,
Right. I think you need to also understand, like, bodybuilding is easier to judge. Classic too. There are 8 poses. Or 6. Yeah, 6 to 8 poses, right? So
Yeah.
when you do those poses, you're getting marked for each pose which you're winning or getting better. In men's physique, there's 2. And everybody's
It's true.
body shape is different. Now, this judge may like high lats, like Jeremy Bundia's high lats, or
Yeah.
the other judge may like lower lats, like Aaron Banks has. So if they like more lower lat development, then how's this guy that has high lats in his frame? That's just his genetics. He can come at his best. That's not going to matter. But this
Yeah.
next judge only cares about lower lats, and he's like, oh, okay, if you have high lats, I'm going to place you 4th.
Yeah, there's this shape and structure, and if you talk to a judge about your physique and feedback, one judge might tell you that, oh, this is good for your shape and structure, because in Korea I had 2 different feedbacks. The Korean judge wanted me to work on my lateral shoulders, and then my arms. That was his feedback for increasing my taper.
Yeah.
And I was like, arms, I asked him twice, because I really think it is
Not a
just
men's
with my,
Yeah.
yeah, for men's physique, I don't think I should have a bigger arm, because I already have a good
Yeah,
shoulder to
as long as
ratio.
the shoulder is going out of the arms, that's all they really need.
Yeah, it's balanced. So I asked him, also, that was his opinion to increase my taper. But our second show, I spoke to Steve, and his opinion feedback was, no, I feel like your arms look balanced to your physique, to your overall physique. So you got to just work on your taper by opening up and then posing. You make sure you work on your chest and open up and pose, and then you grow overall. You put on a little bit shoulder, a little bit arm. That is okay. That is fine. You can understand that overall. If I add a little bit to my entire density, I would look streamlined. I would look bigger. But I don't. So this is the kind of feedback every judge has. So I understand why I was placed 7th in my first show. They were looking for bigger, since those Korean guys do this hands-on ways. Their triceps is also seen. The chest
arms,
bigger,
better.
bigger. They already have a bigger arms. So their focus is like, it's like a matchup. Oh, this guy has bigger arm. This guy doesn't have. So you go build your arms and come back. So that's the kind of men's physique feedbacks we receive. So you have to really be updated with the knowledge. Watch all those Olympia judges, and Tyler is posting about all those feedback videos on Instagram about why this guy won that. So if you learn a lot, and you have to show some interest to learn the criteria and what it's moving towards, the direction. You have to be updated and ask for the feedback as well.
Yeah. So what I want to do now is, I don't think they've released the official like list of the India papers, but
Your audio is low.
yeah, I think they haven't. They'll release it on the Monday before the
Yep.
show. I think it'll be like last week of May. But I just heard, and this might be news for a lot of people, that there are a couple of guys from US and Europe coming to India to compete. They're all Olympians. So
Oh,
this might be a shock to a lot of some of these Indians that are thinking that this will be a very easy walk in the park show. So this is
oh,
not going to be an easy walk in the park show because you're going to be competing against Olympians again. So
nice.
I hope everybody's ready.
Nice.
You already competed, so I'm not referring to you, but I just hope like people bring their A level game up. And there's also like 2 weeks left for the show. Like you can't slack because yeah, it's gonna be a tough fight. But again, as I said, everybody is beatable on a given day.
Of
So
course, I'm excited. I'm happy that a lot of Olympians are coming because I want to be able to battle with the best and see where I stand and improve, get inspired, learn, or somehow or the other. If I win, I'm
when
happy.
you beat someone, when you beat someone like at that level, it gives you more confidence. Plus, it also like helps give you
Right
that.
now, you have given me the motivation to enter into my peak week.
Yeah,
This is going to drive me and push me, give
yeah.
me that little bit extra to work on the peak week.
Yeah,
Okay.
because this is going to be big. You beat somebody like that's an established Olympian. Yeah, you're gonna that already like fast tracks you at the Olympia because now you're beating somebody credible.
Gives you a lot of momentum, and that's going to give me a lot of so many positives. I have nothing to lose, but if I show up at my best and beat them, I have everything to gain. I have nothing to lose. If I
Yeah.
improve and show a better package, that's a win-win for me. That's all I care about. From last year, I have improved so much, and from last show, I have improved so much within the 20 days. My second show
Well, I
and
hope
third.
that I hope like like somebody from India only wins because people come to India to compete because they one think that yeah it's an easier show, but more importantly, they think that it is great to gain popularity
No,
everywhere
everybody,
fast. And we have said this before, like our people just love supporting people from outside. So when these people come, they feel like high, like they feel this high that
celebrity,
they don't treat
white
like that in their own
celebrity.
country. Yes, they're not treated like that in their own country. We give them more support than they have ever received in their entire life in their own country. So that's why more and more people are coming and keep coming, but that's our fault, right? Like again, we complain about the organizers, we complain about so many things that are wrong in our industry, but the main thing to really think about is like we need to start supporting the athletes that are of our country more than you're supporting like the athletes from other countries because their countries are there to support them. Your country, if you're going to do that, more people will come. More people will come. It's going to become more competitive.
Yeah.
So
No, I mean, I have a similar experience in Korea. When I did my posting, there was some crowd cheering. I heard a few noises cheering, but those Korean guys, the names weren't even called out, but the kind of cheering they had was next level. For compared to another foreign athlete, a Chinese guy or another guy, there was not much from the crowd. But all those Korean guys, all 4 or 5 guys, they had a huge crowd cheering for them.
yeah,
That's the kind of support they received from the home ground.
yeah.
That was insane.
I think we, in India they support in person at the shows and stuff. I don't think people that come to the show are still supportive, but it's just overall like I feel like it's more so on the social media, like the people that go to the show that haven't watched it live, that don't have as maybe they don't have as much passion for the sport because people that go there are spending money, are spending time, so
Yeah,
it shows that they are more passionate to go. Whereas the people that are just
of
sitting
course.
at home, especially if it's happening in the same city, maybe they're not as passionate, so they take it out on the social media. And I think that is what maybe that's the kind of support an athlete needs. And I mean, the best way is I heard it in an interview that Ali said this, that to what made the biggest difference to him to bringing his best and like making all these improvements was that he cut off social media. And like last year was very heavy on him, the whole social media pressure and stuff. And this is a fact. This is something that I've definitely faced, and I'm sure you have faced, where there are certain shows that you put so much pressure on yourself that no matter what you do, everything else just doesn't go your way. To me,
Yeah,
I have felt every Olympia I've done, I'm under extreme levels of pressure and stress versus when I do a pro show. especially a show where I feel like I've done everything during my prep. But that's something that I need to get better at. Even me, I need to get better at it. That I need to treat Olympia like a pro show mentally and not care about so much about like all the hype about like Olympia placing and Olympia this and that. I think once you switch that mindset, because stress is not good, but I mean pressure is good, but to a certain level. When you
Yeah.
get too much, it'll increase your cortisol so high that your body will never ever. And maybe that is the reason why I'm not hitting my peak better. Maybe, but I don't know what it is. But I just know one thing that I've noticed that there are some athletes and the shows that I've looked my best at are the shows where I have the least stress and pressure and like just cortisol was not as high. And same thing that you just said, right? Like Asia Grand Prix show you did, your stress levels were through the roof, your cortisol was high, pressure was high, and your look wasn't where you wanted. But then the next show you were more relaxed, you had a better experience, you had everything better. So your look got much better.
Yeah.
It's
It's
not
instant change.
it's more so the brain because those chemicals, the brain chemicals and hormones, they can ruin your physique within a couple minutes, an hour.
Of course, yeah. When you get more stressed or when your cortisol is up, you will start sweating no matter what. It's not the stage lighting even. You can't hold on to your poses. You will hit different. You will go blank out. For me,
Right? Body is fighting. Right now, body
yeah,
is fighting. While you're trying to look your best, internally your body is fighting. How can both things kind of go together? So I think the most important thing is just to stay like as calm as possible, and that's something I'm trying to get better at. So what he said, I definitely agree with him that at this level now, with the things that are happening, maybe it's the best thing to like before you're competing, cut off the social media, cut off the social media use. There's so many things like maybe have a thicker skin, maybe don't read anything. This every person does differently. I heard it from Sadiq. Sadiq used to do this one thing that I think heard a couple of years ago. I think I heard it from somebody else that he does this. That when he's competing, he mutes all the accounts that are in men's physique. So even when he goes and logs in his app, he sees no update of anybody. He only posts himself and all these random people that he has, but no men's physique athlete will be shown on his feed for months leading up to the Olympia or like months leading up to the show.
it's
And I'm
locked in.
glad that it's getting more and more. I think that's me. That's maybe something that I will do, and I have to do some other stuff too, like to ensure that I stay like completely calm. Because what was happening in 2019, 2020, 2021 for me was I wasn't as stressed. Whatever stress was is the internal pressure, not the external pressure. Internal pressure you have full control on, right?
Yeah.
What you do, you can fight, you can control. External pressure is something getting affected by externally, you don't have control on. But if you
So
take, if you shut,
if
right?
you have a plan, if there is so much external pressure, you will want to switch your plan thinking about that. That will confuse your plan. You will want to make changes. If you look at your body early morning fasted
Yes,
and because of the external pressure, you think you are flat and you wanted a refeed day.
yes.
Something or the other, you will mess up your plan. You will want to go in a different direction, and that will fuck up their
Yes.
show day
That's
peak.
what you see, like you what you were saying. This is what you said just earlier. That you said that the guys that turn pro the day before end up
Yeah,
beating the guys and looking better than people that have been competing for a while. But then later they fade out. Let me tell you why. It's not because they're working less hard. It's because the pressure has increased.
sure. I want to highlight
This is something for you. Let's take your example. But well, you were
my.
older. Like let's take about an example of someone that is like just nobody knows about him. He's never been on social media.
No, you
Right?
can talk about. We can take me as an example because
I
until
said
amateur,
even for
yeah,
you, I'm sure even if you were known a little bit, there's a different level you get to. You win your pro card, and now you have like these. You win your pro card, and then let's say you don't win your pro show next day. You're still like at a very high. People are now like recognizing you. People are like just saying positive stuff. You are not under pressure right now. Your pressure is gone, right? And then people have these. You have expectations. People have expectations. You'll do the next show. You'll be a lot more relaxed. I guarantee you this. Your pro debut is more internal pressure than anything else.
yeah,
Just like how pro card
that
is internal pressure.
problem started.
And then the real thing starts. You do one, two, three. The more you do it, the worse it'll get because the worse your external pressure is getting.
You gotta deliver. You gotta deliver the package. You have to meet the expectations. That
It's still the same. You are the same person, but it's the external pressure that's changing you, and
that's
that's
driving you.
your performance and your peaks. So as what you mentioned, when you're a new pro, you look your best, you do your best, everything's good. As they get older, they fade out slowly and slowly. They keep fading out.
But
It's
you gotta
because
have that mental drive and
your mental strength starts at that point.
yeah.
The weak will stumble and crumble. The strong will make it through. And if you make it through, then you can take it to a whole different level where yes, you might like get back up, and then no matter what happens, you are just this person that doesn't get affected, right? So what Sadiq did, I understand what, because maybe he was like, he may not have done that, he may have heard it, but I'm sure like what this technique is, it works. Because what it does is like now you're really not like looking at anybody. Even you can control very easily about your own comments, right? You can control what you want to read, right? You
Yeah.
can just ignore it. But you can't control what, as soon as you open something or you go to YouTube, you're watching something else, something spawns up, you're like, oh my God, like this guy looks so great. Shit, like I don't look that good. Like, you know, this like they might be in the best lighting, everything's good and all that, and you're flat and depleted and you don't look good, but you're looking at that. And people are
It can be
commenting on that. People are getting
also both.
that athlete. Yeah. So, but for you, you're feeling like, oh, people are not supporting me. I feel flat. I don't feel good. I feel like I'm small. I'm this and that. I'm like, maybe I'm holding more fat and water. And then what? Puts you a lot of pressure. This walker didn't look like 8 weeks out at Pittsburgh Pro, a week before New York Pro, he was going to compete. And people said so much shit about him. If he had focused on that, he would have never peaked at the New York Pro. But he shut it all
True.
off. He completely shut it off, focused on the task at hand, and came in with his best package and won the show.
Yeah.
These are things I'm also learning, right? Like I didn't know this. Like what I'm talking with you, like nobody was like talking about this to me. Plus, it's not something you learn until you go through it.
Yeah.
So
Someone starting out now might think, oh, they're talking about it because they have faced failures in their first couple of road shows. That's why they're talking about. I have it. I have the package. I have the size. I can meet the criteria. I can go on and win the show.
the confidence
Congrats.
is high, the pressure is low.
Good luck.
Yes.
Go compete and see firsthand. You'll know. That's what I would say.
That is why some people's egos take such a big hit that they can't digest this fact that they are not placing anymore at the pro shows. Right? Because you went from being so confident and less pressure to having your confidence shaken and external pressure increasing tenfold. Like opposite things, right? You went from here to like this and this. Sorry.
Now you rest your body.
Now you're like at a much worse position.
Yeah, you can't rest also because it's like you're coming from a loss, and then there's so much to prove. And when you want to start out, you're not confident. You don't know what to work on. Your plans get messed up. You think your plans are not working. Now you don't know what to start on, what to fix. There's so much happening.
You question everything.
So you change from your
when you're in a fight and flight mode of so much stress and pressure, you're not going to make good decisions. And I've gone through this myself where I know this. I've learned it through experience, where I'm going to get better at it. But yes, it's something that I've learned that you don't make good decisions when you're in that fight and flight mode. And you're like, there's so many things that are happening that your just mind is just all over the place. That is never going to be a place that you can do well at.
No, you can back it up scientifically.
When I heard this interview of Ali, like I could relate to it in the sense that I understand that when you're focusing so much on the social media aspect and it's affecting you externally, positive or negative, right? You're not going to be your real self. And when you're not your real self, how can you bring your best?
Yeah.
So battle is always in the mind. You overcome that mind, you cut everything out, and not just cut everything out. It's just a saying. Looks, everybody says, right? He like cut the people out with this. No, like actually, you just completely are numb to everything. It's like a wall around you, and you are the only person in the wall. And now you do it.
No, what I started doing for this prep, no, I spend most of my time at the gym or somewhere. So I don't have access to my phone. I did my cardio. I used to stay at the gym. Slowly, I had my meal. I don't have cravings when I'm at the gym.
Yeah.
But when I'm home, constantly I open my fridge. I look at everything. Should I eat this? Should I eat that? I pick I can't eat anything. I'll pick the water, I'll drink, and I would spend 20 minutes just looking at all those foods and feel bad and come back. Why do I have to go through that stress? If I'm not home, if I'm not spending most of my time at my place, watching YouTube videos or scrolling through,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have to go through my stress. So that helped me get better, improve this time.
Yeah.
So that's what I did also in my off season. The entire season, I spent a lot of time at the gym and outside my house. And even in my house, I don't look at any other updates.
That is the best way. I've done a couple of preps where I did that. And then there have been a couple of preps where I was just so bothered by so many things going around that I was just obsessed with what is going around. And then some preps I was able to completely shut out. And honestly, like, it's a known fact. If you're going to have so many things affecting your mind, it's the same thing as if you have, like, your relationship issues, financial issues. If they are affecting you during your prep, you're not going to do well. You cannot do well. So same thing happens with this pressure stuff and all of this. So as long as you can just, everything can be shunned out and you can just, be your calm self, you'll always look your best. You also physical health too, right? Like Chris Bumstead has a lot of like physical health scare, like leading up to the Olympia in 2019 and 18, I believe. So, but he was able to, like, it was the hardest prep of his life and all that stuff. But luckily he won, but it wasn't his best package. So,
Yes.
like, you will still not be able to bring your best. But the next day you were so calm and like perfect mindset, perfect relationship. He didn't have any breakup. He didn't have anything. Everything was perfect, and he brought his best package. It's a known fact that you will always bring your best physique when you are just when you're just within yourself and you're keeping your mind completely calm. Versus like when you're affected with everything, relationship, finances, social media. If these things affect you, you're not going to be able to bring your best.
Yeah, but I have been very lucky with this thing because even if I didn't, I failed to deliver in my first few pro shows. Like first, I have been competing at like a fifth or sixth pro show, but I have the support. I still have positive messages coming in saying, "Oh,
Up, right? You're still coming up, right? And that's good because the amount of support, if you have more, that is what you want, and that is good. But
yeah,
that is also because you're coming up and the expectations are slowly increasing. Right now, you just came in first color, right? So now the expectations have increased. Now, if you ever come second or third color, people will shit on you. Because
yeah,
now you just unlocked a
well,
new level. You've shown everyone what you're capable of. So you
yeah." Now
you can't go back.
go back.
Going forward, so you're gonna have the support. And the reason I say this, I've gone through this whole process. I've gone up, I've gone here, been brought down, I've gone up, and did it all. So I can tell you this from like guaranteed, and not just me. Even if you observe a guy like Ali, or you observe a guy like who's that name, Charjo, that was fourth at the Olympia in 2022, and then he didn't even place last year, right? So I know
Yeah,
these guys and I know the journeys. Yeah, Charjo was fourth in 2022, and then
Olympia.
he didn't place. So you can understand the mindset that it's going to like take you, right?
Yep.
So that's the thing. Like, when people support you more, when you're like taking next levels. But if you go back, if you like don't perform, then there's a problem. Then
Yeah,
you get like more pressure. But that is why when the things need to be like, hey, it's fine. Whatever they say, whatever it is, it's my pressure, myself that got me here, and I just need to shun this all out. And this is just like one bad performance or one bad phase, and I'm gonna get over it, right? And that's when you're able to like get that. It's just a bad phase. You've made it to top 5. If in the next show you come 9th or 10th, you still have to believe that you still came 5th, and this you can go higher. You've done it
no,
once, you'll do it again.
literally exactly was I had an improved physique when I posted about my back and everything. Everybody thought, "Oh, this guy has improved back this time." But my first show, I was placed seventh. That was like the last position, seventh out of seven. And
Yeah.
everybody started saying, "Oh, no, no, you shouldn't go compete. Shouldn't travel. You should not. You're wasting money. You're all of that, like all of the stuff." And that affected me so much. They all don't know what happened with the show day. I had so much going on my show day, and that
And they
did
won't listen. They won't, and you don't even have to make them understand that. The
yeah,
worst part is, I think I was thinking about this. Maybe I saw this where you posted like a caption, or you maybe replied to something where you did mention that you had like a travel issues and all of that, right? And I saw like, and I know like the thing with people is that when you are not when you are at a low, or like you're not like winning, let's say like you're not winning, everything that you'll say to them comes off as an excuse. When
Excuse.
is fine, because you don't need to explain to anyone, right? Because when you win, here's the difference part. When you win, same people will come to you for advice, how you
Yep.
did. But
Yes.
only the change was, only the difference was just that you were stressed here and you were stressed here, and that's the only difference.
Yeah.
Can you
And
explain?
all depends
They
on
won't,
how
they
you
won't,
present
they
yourself
won't
on that day. And it is a lot more on who was the head judge for that show, who showed up at that show. It's a lot of events, a lot of factors are coming up.
if we do this, see, we have to understand the kind of country we have. People are not educated enough to understand these simple concepts. That each judge is different, each criteria is different, each show's participants are different, each shows, like, there is so many factors that you can be at your best and you'll still lose if you choose the wrong show. This is how it
Yes.
works. Or if it's your bad luck, it's also dependent on luck too. There is something called luck in this sport. This is not, a sprint, 100-meter sprint ki jo sabse kam time pe karega, you won. Like, it's a clear winner. There's no clear winner in this sport. There's luck
Yeah.
in it.
So if it was biceps, okay, we'll measure the biceps and say who's a winner. It's easier. I just have to improve my biceps and see if I have 30-inch, I'm going to be the winner.
I'll
But
tell
it's
you what
not that.
happened. You see, baat hai na, I'll give you this one example. People don't know this, right? People, see, that's why explaining them, I've given up. मैं 2 साल पहले, I think 2020, 2021 में, I used to get very agitated. I think you also know that. Like, I used to be a very different kind of a person when it comes to like social media. Because I used to take things personally. कि इसने ये क्यों बोला मेरे बारे में, ये बोल दिया, मैं तो ये कर रहा हूँ. Like, they don't know कि मैं कितनी में how much trouble I had, winning a show, yeah, how much trouble I went through, yeah, how many relationship issues I had before, like a week before the show. So I used to just feel like इनको पता नहीं है, they don't understand this, and let me make them understand. It's all useless. Nobody cares. So
Yeah.
it's like
You
they
just,
don't care at all. All they care about is when you win, they'll ask you how did you win, boss. So then you can
yeah.
just like do that and then go ahead. But what I wanted to tell you is, like, at the Olympia, we talked a lot about the pro shows, and we have talked a lot about how judging can be different. The athletes competing, if they have a certain look and you stand out, it's different. All these things can affect your placing. The stage lights, the tan. Honestly, I've done one show. Um, I don't remember the name of that, but then 2019, where my skin absorbed the oil. So I was very
Oh,
like flawed. And this I've also seen with other athletes happen too. So somehow maybe the pH balance was off, or like the temperature, humidity was off. I have kept absorbing. They kept doing this and I kept absorbing. So what happened is, like,
darker black.
they did this for 2 or 3 times. I would go there, get the glaze on. By the time I go up, it's already soaked. फिर मैं दोबारा गया. But again, when my stage time came, I had nothing on. Like, there was no pop. And then my coach and my like coach is there, and my girlfriend at the time was there, and like she's there, they're telling me that, hey, like, like, you need to like get, like, they're telling me like, get this pat on. I'm like, I just went to get that on, and it's not working. So that is a factor, right? If you're tan, or the other thing is if you have too much glaze on.
Yeah. It look
Now,
oily. Give you that oily look. It won't make
it's
you look
too oily,
drier.
then it looks off. So these factors can affect you at the pro show. Now, what affects you at the Olympia? What affects you at the Olympia is, where is your group? Where are you with your surname in the group? Group callouts will suggest your
Yeah.
placing a lot. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
If there are
Who
40
is
guys at the
group?
Olympia and they have 8 groups, let's say they have 5 groups, right? 5 groups of 8 people each. Now you are only competing with the 8 people that are in your group, and you need to stand out in your group. This is
Yeah.
luck. Who are you gonna have now? Your group, see, your group. Well, me and you have a similar surname, A and C, right? Let's say, like, your group was something where your father out, and the athletes that are with you, none of them are Olympians and none of them are top 15, and you get that group. That's an easy group. That's luck.
Yeah.
You stand out in that, you're in the first call out. That's how they judge Olympia. Each group is tested first. Then comes and then once they've already figured out, they'll bring in like 12 guys. for the first call out, and then they'll slowly separate, right? But you still made it. You didn't make it because you look better than the other top 4 or 5 guys. You made it because you grew up. You stood out. Top one guy or two guys that stand out. Now, your luck can also be bad, where you can have 5 Olympians out of 8 people in your group. Now, you need to look better than those guys to be making it to the top.
Yes.
I learned this because I'm like, with me, like my C, and even if when you make it to the Olympia, you'll understand your group is going to be the toughest group. There's going to be Aaron Banks. There's going to be Jeremy Bundia. There's going to be who else? Daniel Ammons, right? And there's going to be a couple more people that are going to be in your group that are top Olympians. And there's going to be Ali, right? So all these people are going to be in your group, and you need to beat them in that group to get to that first, so that they don't get to the first, right? So that all these factors can always come under the luck, and so many things affect these. But our goal is always to just keep doing our best, and then you never know whose time comes when. You might be able to beat all these guys. You might look like Raja might make his first Olympia appearance this year, and he might stand out in that group of Jeremy Bundia, Daniel Ammons, and Aaron Banks, and beat them in that group, and then go on to the first call-up. Right? It is. So all we can do is we can just work.
Yeah, that's what is making the division crazy, because I don't think there can be a winner, Olympia winner, who can go consistently win for years in men's physique continuously.
And
just with men's physique. I feel
like, category that has actually this and bikini and men's physique are such categories that they have the maximum winners. Every year or 2 years they keep switching what the standard is. Bikini is like that too. Bikini is the category. Every year they change the look of who is the ambassador and who's the top figure. Now sometimes they'll have Laura Lee, which was like very slim, tall physique. Then they'll have somebody else that is Ashley that has a complete look. It's like it's such a confusing division because every time it's a new winner.
No, every top 6, no, they keep switching it. All of a sudden,
and bikini
winner will
be physique is bad, but I'm telling you, like bikini is even worse than men's physique.
Yeah. I saw the winners list. 6th place winner is winning the Olympia, and the 2nd place is going to 3rd place, 4th place. They're shuffling between the top 10. Every year, there's a change. There's no, at least in men's physique, the top 5 or 6, you can predict 4 or 5 names in it, the top 10. But with bikini, it's so random.
Yeah, but that's a good thing, right? Like I just feel like that's what makes it like a fun thing too. But also at the same time, this creates more pressure that it might take you a long time to make it, right? But you can make it just any day. Any 1 year can be your year. Which year it's gonna be, we don't know. So all we can do is keep showing up. The problem is
Ali also.
What?
This was his year.
Yeah. But
he made it.
Same thing with him. Like people can just say whatever they need. People can say whatever they want. He looked his best, right? They'll try to like compare. Like they're gonna try to create this rivalry between me and him. But the fact of the matter is, he looked insane. He looked crazy. But he made amazing progress from last year. This is his year. Honestly, this is his year. If he thought that 2022 was his year, no. That was a really good first year, no doubt about it. Very good first year. But this is your year.
No, right? He had a pretty bad 23.
It's a very good phase of his career as a pro and very early on in his career. If he makes well use of it, this is going to last long. But here's the fun fact: it's not going to last forever because it doesn't last forever for anyone. Andre Ferguson's career lasted from 2000. He dominated the men's physique division from 2016 to 2021. And now he has had a trouble making that same.
Let's talk about Banks in that case, because he had
that dominating face, very, very short, but he had an extremely dominating face.
Yeah, it's your face. So with all those guys who are winning the pro card.
Fun fact, and this is what I like tell myself when I'm feeling like doubting myself, and I'm feeling like, oh my god, like we got the time to gain the muscle, and some of these guys that I used to compete with, they're at such a high level, and these are the guys that I competed with, right? So they're at the same level. But then I also forget there are some guys that were at the top at when I started competing, and they're at the bottom now. And it keeps going up and down, so you can't rely on them. But one thing is for a fact that I've learned, and I would like to tell you and every aspiring competitor, everybody's time comes and everybody's time goes, and your time may come again. But the difference between your time coming again and not coming is the focus and is the lack of distractions and just staying relentless. That's the only way that if your time came and it went and you want to come back again, that's how you come back. And yes, Ali is a prime example of that. I've seen a lot of other athletes that have been doing. Ryan Terry has been able to do that because he came seventh at one of the Olympias, right? So he came back and coming through first. Like he has been able to get from top to bottom to like top again. So it's a phase. You have to riding it. Yeah, these guys have a lot of experience. You and I are young, especially you are like, you're still at the early stages of your pro, career. Even for me, like there's a lot of years left. And I think for most Indian athletes, we have a lot of years left. I think all of us are young. I feel like most of us are like under 30. I could be wrong.
Yes.
Most of us, I definitely believe, are young under 30. So there's so
Under
much.
30.
Corey is like 39 or 38. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on this. People put us on a screenshot like post karne lag jaye ki I'm like saying all these things. It's like I could be wrong, but I believe he's 38 or 39. You see, like,
Looks 35 plus.
look like how much Charjo is like almost 40.
Yeah.
So you see, like these guys have so much experience behind them, and our time must be coming. There are a lot of Indian pros that I feel like 21, 22, that bit too. I don't know, Surojit Das.
Suraj.
Yeah, that
21. No, 22.
super young. If I talk to him, I haven't talked to him ever, but if I meet him at this show, like that's one thing that I always say, that you have so much time. Plan it out, because
Yeah.
when the time comes, you have to maximize that time of staying in there, because coming back up might be much harder. Like Stephen Cow, right? Like he's a very good friend of mine. Stephen Cow placed third at the Arnold, beating a lot of the top guys, and then he wasn't able to qualify. Oh, I think your screen froze, Raja. Yep. Yeah, I figured you said I had frozen. So, yeah, I was just saying that like Stephen Cow is a really good friend of mine, and then he also like had a phase of he placed third at the Arnold, and then he came 14th at the Olympia. The year that I came 15th, he came 14th, right? And now he's been having trouble qualifying. But he's also young. He's the same age. But does that mean that he should just stop competing? Does that mean he should like just start feeling negative? No, his time may come again. And you never know, maybe this is his year. He'll do a couple of shows, maybe he'll come back up, or maybe it's not this year, maybe it'll be next year. There's a lot of open bodybuilders that have done that in the past, where they'll have an injury or they'll have a life problem or something, and they'll like go back and then come back down and go back up. So I think it's very important for us all to understand. And when I say a high phase, it could also be when you win up your pro card, right? It's a very big of a high phase. You win a pro card, and then you're not placing at the pro show. It shouldn't make you feel less off. It shouldn't make you feel, should I compete? Should I not? Or like hate other people. Negativity is never going to make you win. That's a fact. So it's better just focus on yourself. But yes, if you're also feeling down, I think it's just better to just understand the simple fact that your time will come again.
Yeah.
When you won pro, your time came. You had a lot of high confidence. It'll come again. You might go to the Olympia. You might even come top 10 at the Olympia. Might come top 5. All those phases will come. But I think that should help more of us to compete more.
Yeah.
Take things
When I faced a hit in my first pro show, pro debut, I also questioned myself if I should be able to do it. What is it at pro level? What happens next? Should I continue or should I go off? So many other questions, and you start doubting yourself.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of guys are there at that level. Maybe it can be an amateur show, national show, or NPC show, or even the pro qualifier, where they wouldn't have made it to the callouts, or they would have won a national show, NPC show, and come here and not placed in the call out. And if they'll doubt, self-doubt, all those other things will go through their head that they don't know what to do next.
It is hard because it's expensive. The
This will help
sport is
them.
expensive, so it may make you like doubt and be like, oh, should I spend all of this money? There's a lot of good athletes we have had that did well, but then they stopped competing. I
Yeah.
still believe that everybody that is doing well, like if you have placed top three at a show, at a national show, you have the chance to become a pro. Don't quit. If you are a pro that has ever come in the first call out in the first 3 or 4 years of your competing, definitely not quit. But even if you've never placed, if you keep going, if you keep making these improvements, if you keep showing up, more two things are important: make the improvements and keep showing up. Despite what
Your time
everybody
will
else
come.
says, your time will come.
Yeah.
And we have seen it happen, like Sean Clarida, classic example. Sean Roden, classic example. We have had this in the past where we have seen this.
Yeah. So also, but for Indian athletes, especially since we have a lot of audience from Indian athletes, like I want to also stress on the fact that if you win your pro card, the window is shorter. Make use of that window and make sure you're financially settled, or make sure you
Yes.
plan ahead so that you will be able to compete in a pro show, multiple
That's
pro
the
shows.
most important thing.
Multiple pro shows. So the window is just less. The hype is going to be there for a short period of time. So you gotta make use of it. Settle your business, everything, whatever you're focused on. Make sure you do that.
You're
And
saying a very good point there because I feel most people, most athletes think that they will be able to make money after they turn pro. So they rely on the pro card, and that's when they get disappointed. A lot of athletes that are quitting IFBB pro cards in India, I think, have this expectation. And when you don't get the expectations met, it hurts you and you start feeling like, negative feelings and all that. But I think that's a wrong way of thinking. What you are saying is the right way. And I think you and I have both done that, but I've also seen other people also do it. Be already financially secure before you even attempt for a pro card. Then when you win it, stay financially secure. And then maybe after that, you can take that financial level to another level. And that'll only
yeah,
help. That's all extra. That's not your base. Your base should always be there. And then all the extra money you're making from sponsorships and the appearances and all that, that's all extra. That's good. But
that'll
the
help you upgrade
base,
your life a little bit. Want to try a new thing? Just
but
your appearance or your travel. We're gonna go train somewhere. All those extra things will only help you so
yes,
much to be able to like have that extra edge to
yes,
experience all of it.
yes.
But your base should always be secured. You shouldn't be dependent on this to be able to compete, and make sure you're getting paid in return, at least for the first 3 years as a pro,
Yeah.
until you
You can't
belong.
rely on other people, and I think that's one thing that people are relying on competing in India. I think in India, this is the only country where people are relying on competing to make cash. In other countries, it's like it's understood fact that you need to make cash yourself, but getting through bodybuilding or getting to the Olympia and stuff will maybe help you make extra, and may help you make a career. Only 0.1% people can do that, pros. But the more important thing is to always have the security before, so they don't get these expectations. And I think that's going to change a lot. That is going to help these new pros, the guys that are going for pro cards. If they just follow this thing, I think that will definitely help increase our representation at the Olympia, because they will not be like, they can compete in 5 6 shows a year.
Yeah,
And that's
that's
what
what
we
we want
need.
to see. That's how we want to see, and then that's how we want to improve. And if many athletes start to compete, it'll improve. I think it'll grow as an industry, and guys at the Olympia, the expectations are going to be like, met
Yeah.
very soon. Very
Yeah,
soon, hopefully.
and it's going to happen. I think just some of the changes that are happening. And yes, I think the most important thing is, I think this is the most important point, where if they are just financially secure from other things, not just competing, then
No,
100% in every category we will
yeah,
have.
I don't see a concept in it, because say if even if they offer a cash prize for pro card, or after a pro show, you make 1 lakh or 1.5 lakhs. What is it going to help you with the travel for the show? That's it.
Barely it's going to get your travel expenses.
Yeah, travel covered. And what next? Nothing, right? So you gotta go back to your base and
Exactly.
then work on something. It's not going to give you like a monthly dividend or something like
No,
paying you every month.
no.
So you gotta have something figured out for you and your life and your basic amenities needs covered. And then this is this extra. So you have to think that way. Just because a promoter is offering you money every month or so, nobody's going to do that. Since you turned
That's
pro,
the
I'm
thing,
going to
right?
offer
That
you
people's
money.
expectations are like, promoter paisa de, and then the companies should give them the money. Well, company will give you money, but you also have to give something in return, right? And promoter's job is not to give you money. Honestly, promoter's job is to give you like opportunity. That's stage. Honestly, not even opportunity, just a stage. So I think but I think it's gonna still take time. I hope this thing changes because a lot of other people and other organizations in India are doing these private shows, and a lot of athletes are getting distracted with trying to do those local shows. I think the focus should not be those local shows that are giving price. The focus should always, if you are a competitor that wants to go to the Olympia, if you think of yourself as like Arnold and Ronnie Coleman, like if that's what you want to do, then the focus is very clear. There's like, do your shows that are leading you to the pro card, do your shows that are leading up to the Olympia. Stop getting distracted with shows that are giving you these cash prizes. Because go cash prize one time hoega, 1 lakh, 1.5 lakh. Let's say you win 2 shows. What is that going to do at all?
No,
Upar se, your
even
defenders are getting
now
fat by
10
using all
lakhs.
that gear.
If
And
they receive 1 minute, if they receive 10 lakhs also, do you
yeah,
think they'll be able to like be smart enough to invest in something
no,
that'll give them
not that
returns?
bad. 10 lakh is
They're going
even
to buy
10 lakh
something.
को save करके बैंक में डाल के या उसका म्यूचुअल फंड लेके डिविडेंड लेके तो भी you are not going to be able to sustain anything. So it's better कि you have something real and you selectively choose your shows because your body can only take so much. मैंने पहले भी बोला स्पोर्ट मोड में चलाओगे हर शो अगर 10 8 शो, see you can do more shows if you take less gear. But if you like start doing like like the way that things happen in some of these guys, that like the way they do things, driving in sport mode and thinking they'll be able to do 8 shows a year, then you're gonna fry out, and then you'll make these 10 lakh to 15 lakh, and that's it. Your career is done. Health issues are there. Now pro card to kya, you can't even compete.
Yeah. So
So it's very
everything.
important to say that just do it intelligently.
Yeah, this will help a lot of guys are coming up to help fix their mentality first, even before starting out. That
Yeah.
help them the basics.
But I'm excited about the India Pro Show. I'm definitely excited. I'll be there watching. It's good to not be competing. It's like I feel
You can enjoy
relaxed.
all the food, the venue, and you will be able to like watch all those fun and be like, oh,
I'm not
great
stressed at
experience.
all. I'll be spending a lot of the time at the expo this time. Whereas when I compete, like it's like as less time at the expo. Just keep, just come there, do your show, go back, stress. I'm just happy this time. I'm like just not bothered about
Yeah,
anything.
you get to spend the time walking in the venue, walking in the expo,
Yeah,
talking
I'll
to
have
the
the time. I
fans.
know, Andre Dew and Ryan Teddy are coming. Hopefully, get a chance to train with them. I hit them up. Hopefully, I'll be able to train with them, go eat something stuff. So I'll be able to do all this stuff, which if I was competing, I cannot do it.
Wow,
So
that's one thing like I really miss about the India show. But yeah, it's my chance.
yeah,
I
you have to do it. Yeah, you have to do it. Like this is your time to kind of like do all of this, compete as much as possible, make a mark. You've had a good show, good year of just competing. You're already ahead of the pack because a lot of the I don't think any other Indian pros competed this year, so you're
I
already
don't think.
ahead. Yeah. So that gives you momentum, that gives you data to use for your new physique. So yeah, I think it should definitely help you. It's gonna be a fun show. I'm excited. I would have done like what is it called, the predictions, but the competitor list isn't out, and
Yeah.
I know who's competing, but I don't want to miss out on anyone. So maybe we'll
So
do one
at least
more
you could
episode.
tell the names, right?
Yeah, I know the names. I know I know most of the guys that are doing it, but again, until the official competitor list is out, um,
No, let it be interesting for the audiences about
yeah,
the US names, international names.
Yeah,
Who
yeah,
are
yeah. So
those?
once the list comes out, only then we can do the predictions where it's like, okay, what we think, and then after the show, we'll see how that goes. But thanks,
You just
Raja.
tell us
You
about
have
those guys, international guys, the Olympians who are coming to India. Just tell those Olympians.
yeah, I don't want to keep it a secret. I know like Alex is competing,
Okay. Alex
and
Toplin.
then, huh?
Alex Toplin.
Yes. Alex Toplan is competing. He's coming. He's booked his ticket. Everything's finalized. He just won a show, I think, yesterday. He's a
Yeah.
good competitor. I think I have not competed against. I've only competed against him at the Olympia in 2022. We were, I think, in the same call out, if not mistaken. But I could. Anyways, but I have not gone like straight up next to him. But I know he has a very good physique. He's a 6'1", or 6'2". He's very tall, so he has a great
I know.
physique. Um, but again, like, and then I know like JC is gonna come. He's not an Olympian, but he has come second at some pro shows and pro
JC
qualifiers.
fit.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
and then there's a couple more that I was not 100% sure, but I haven't had a talk. Like Alex, like he just commented on my post, so I know he just commented on my post like a couple days ago. So he just told me that, and then I confirmed.
He
it.
won a show recently, yesterday or so, I think. Today or yesterday.
He had already booked the tickets and everything for India and all, right? So, yeah, he's gonna be there.
All the fun in
It's
the
gonna be
crowd.
fun because he's like he's another tall guy with good structure, white back and stuff. But I still believe he's beatable, and I think like he has a very different look, and there are looks that can beat him, but it's not gonna be easy for a fact because he doesn't have that hardness. That like a lot of these other athletes at the Olympia top athletes have. It's my issue too. Like I don't also have that crazy hardness, but again, he has a very good structure.
Shape.
And I've been winning a lot of my shows because of the structure, not so much from the hardness. So it's going to be very, very exciting to see him who doesn't have a hardness. And a lot of Indian athletes have hardness. So is it going to be like the structures? It's going to be fun. It makes it fun. And if you beat him, and the guy who beats him, he's definitely like, will make a big name for himself in the industry.
Definitely. Looking forward to it.
I know you have 2 weeks left. Just keep killing it. Stay focused. I wanted to get some other athletes here, but they wanted they're too depleted to be talking, and I understand that. So, but once the India Pro Show is done, we'll make this more. We'll have more athletes here from the Pro Show. We'll have John, right? John and Bardhan and some of these other guys we'll have, and then we'll take it from there. But I wish you all the best, Raja. I'll be there, so I'll see you there. I'll definitely see you there. I'm going there like 3 days before. So if you just hit me up, and then excited to see you guys compete.
Yeah, it's going to be fun weekend. I'll see you there. I'll hit you up if anything.
Yeah. Just let me know. I'll be there 3 years early. So
All right.
Awesome.
Nice talking to you.
Yeah. Good night. Bye.
Night.